battle reports. They're one of the staples of the miniature wargaming community, at least on YouTube. But if you're anything like me, a lot of them just don't quite do it for you. One of the major exceptions to that for me is GFN Gaming. The battle reports on GFN are fast-paced, cinematic, fun, and funny. For the second in this series of interview videos with people making a positive impact in the miniature wargaming community, I talked with Russ, the creator behind GFN Gaming. We talked about his motivation, his process, his gaming history, and what it's like to run a battle report channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this discussion, and definitely check out Russ's channel. If you enjoy this type of content, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like and subscribe to the channel. With all that said, we're going to go ahead and dive right into the interview with Russ from GFN Gaming. Well, let's talk a little bit about you first, though. How did you get into miniature wargaming?
Wow. How did I get into it? I think
when?
It's been there for a long time. I got the classic route in through my older brother. So my big brother was into all the games. I think it was 2nd edition, 40K. We had fantasy, and he did lots of D&D, and we had Hero Quest as well, which is, I guess, D&D light. So we basically, I just piggybacked in on all of his toys, and I used to just collect so that I'd be able to play along with him, really. And then I just enjoyed the painting more, and we had like a few ridiculously big games, mainly on using, I think the original 2nd edition 40K box came with like cardboard cutouts of the dreadnought and the orc dreadnought.
It did, yeah.
So we used them. So we kind of like had them, and then whatever small units you got in the box. And yeah, it was just that. And I had the classic where you step away. I went to uni and I just stepped away from it all. And I can't really remember during the dark times where I didn't have any sort of hobby going on. I mean, I played music and kind of like that kind of took over the hobby. And then I moved back to the Northeast where I'm from. And obviously some friends I've had there for a long time. A friend of mine, Phil, was big into it back again. And he dragged me back into it as well. And I was like, oh, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'll get a box set of Eldar then. And then I was hooked immediately. And then it just grew and grew and grew, as it always does. The pile of shame grew. And then I was mainly playing Big Hammer 40K at the time, just because that's what everyone plays, so it's really easy to play it. Yeah, it's basically just how it happens. You fall back into a gaming group, and they are inevitably playing one of the more popular games. Although they were playing Infinity as well by Corvus Belli, I think it is.
Oh yeah.
So that was Phil, my friend, was big into trying all the indie games. I'm not sure why. He just really didn't like Games Workshop for a period. So he was just like, I'm going to try every single other non-G-Dubs game going. And he threw them at the group, and some of them stuck and some of them didn't. But I remember Infinity because it was a really nice skirmish game, and it was kind of before they had brought out Games Workshop, apart from, I guess, Necromunda, I guess would be the closest, but that hadn't been re-released at the time. So yeah, there was a real kind of gap for a skirmish game that I really liked it. And then obviously Kill Team came out, and I could basically have like 40K tapas where I could get small samples of every army and paint them up and play them. And that just satisfied the hobbyist in me and the gamer. I was like, oh, the perfect blend.
I think that is one of the great appeals of skirmish gaming, is it does. Yeah, it's very a la carte, right? You can just be like, oh, well, I think I'll have a bit of this one.
Yeah. It's, I'm a real sucker for that. I love all the models, and being stuck to a faction was so like, oh, like I know, like I've got, like if you're playing Big Hammer, you've got like a big game coming up, and they keep releasing new rules. So you're like, oh, I need to buy something more, but I just really want to buy orcs for the first time. I've not played orcs since I was a kid. Let's just get a box of orcs.
That's how they get you.
And before you've got a third army, and it's like, oh,
yep.
Yeah. Kill Team's been really, although I say that as someone like, when I was first getting into Kill Team, I'd be like, oh, you know what? It's great when you have that internal monologue. I was like, oh, I won't spend as much money because I won't be collecting a massive army. And I'm just like, over the years now, I'm looking at all the different boxes of what is probably 3 or 4 full armies worth of minis just in different factions now.
Yep.
So it's really not worked as I sold it to myself as working. It really hasn't worked that way.
I think a lot of us have gone through that same sort of mental justification process. Let's get into the battle reports that are really kind of the bread and butter of your channel, and really what got me watching your channel in the first place. What inspired you? You said you'd done a few hobby videos and got into the battle reports. What inspired you to do that, to go into battle report videos?
It was back in the old. I'm not going to start the argument of which edition it was. Let's just say the previous
Kill Team
edition.
18, I think, is kind of
Yeah, Kill Team 18. Someone would be like, there's a 4th edition supplement where you can say, okay.
Yeah.
So Kill Team 18 is when I started. I think, honestly, in retrospect, I think I started when Kill Team 18 was dead or dying. So it was like a moribund game system, and I was deciding to step into YouTube with it. It was more like I was obviously not getting any games at all. So I just thought I don't know. It's a real odd thought. I liked watching battle reports at the time, and I was a little bit lost for a hobby because I was in a band at the time, and obviously you all your activities are going on, gigging and stuff like that. And then I was all of a sudden I've got oodles of free time, and I was just like, I'm all right at video editing. I'm by no means a professional, but I've got like an interest in it. So I just thought I would try. And the idea was I got some great advice from a friend, actually, same friend who dragged me back into 40K. We were talking about it, and I was just like, I'm thinking about doing this. And his advice is always just, why don't you just do it and then see what happens? Like he said, because I think I'd been talking about it for a while, and he knows me quite well. So we've been talking about it. And he's like, just do it. And I was like, I don't think I've got the right equipment. He's like, just use your phone, do it the best you can, and give it a shot. Just do it and see if you enjoy the process. So I was just kind of basically trying to remember the rules, because obviously Kill Team 2 or new Kill Team 21 hadn't been announced at all. So as far as I knew, Kill Team 18 was all there was ever going to be. So I wanted to be fresh when I was able to then start playing with people in person. I think I had a few games on Tabletop Simulator, but nothing. It didn't really replace it for me. So I was like, I'll have a couple of games. I'll film it, see if I can make it look interesting. And that's basically how it started. It's kind of an odd start. I made it, edited together, and thought, I'll throw it out. I kind of go not too far, but as soon as I decided that I was going to give it a try, I got like everything set up. I was like, right, okay, let's get the YouTube let's get a logo, let's get something. So I had like a project finally. So I just kind of went full force into the project, 100%, and so I got it. A standard battle report. It was really bad. I think actually my first one I didn't end releasing because it was so bad. I was really rusty at the game, and I think I put a miniature out of line of sight from me, and then I just never moved him again because I forgot he was there. And then I found him at the end, and I was like, oh, well, this game is kind of invalid now. This is terrible. So I packed everything away, and I was like, no, I'm probably not going to do that again. And then inevitably I got bored, and I tried it again. And I think it was Ultramarines and Grey Knights. And I think I did 125 points, whatever the old system was. Like, do you ever remember Commanders International, the supplement someone made?
Yeah.
I loved that.
I never got to play it, but it was really intriguing.
So I really liked that game. And that almost was the reason I started making the battle reports, because I was like, oh, I'd love to do, and this is, I guess, where I started wanting to do the narrative stuff.
Yeah, that's what I want to get into too, because that's really become kind of the crux of a lot of what you do now is the narrative stuff, which I'm a huge fan of. So,
I mean, I'm a fan as well. It's I shouldn't say fan, but it's the labor of love. I started to try and do it with my second ever video, I think. And it was the battle is still in Kill Team 18, the Adeptus Sororitas versus, and I had an all Berserker team, because that's what you do. You have an all Berserker team, which is sad that we can't do that anymore, but that's what I went for. All World Eaters. So I had this storyline that I managed to, it was nowhere near as in depth, but I was trying to link it. And I only ever did the story for the Commanders International games. So it had some sort of, because I wanted there to be these big characters in it. So I had to have the Commanders in it, but obviously Commanders on its own was kind of broken. So I did just for those games. And I had this idea of this lost Inquisitor, and the sisters were trying to find him. And then he gets waylaid by some orcs. And then some dark angels come, and it was a bit all over the place. But I started trying to do these little tiny mid-clip it, like the kind of like scene setting kind of intros, narrative intros. And then I kind of revisited it obviously a lot more recently with the Kill Team 21 campaign, which has a lot more of a traditional arc. It's got your intro, your mid scene, and then the ending scene.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's funny that you mentioned that though, because some of those same things still kind of carry through. Like you've got some of the bigger characters showing up, and I want to get into that here in a minute. But I want to talk a little bit about like how your videos actually like come out looking. You said you're not a video editing professional, and I was actually curious about that because one of the things that I think sets your channel and a couple others like it apart is there's a lot of post-production stuff that goes in there that really, and even just little tiny things that just really kind of sell it, and not just the explosions and the fun stuff like that, which is great and I love it. But I think in the most recent narrative video, you had a storm talent literally like kind of waving down onto the battlefield, which is like, oh my god. My first thought was like, oh man, this is like what I used to do with my GI Joes, and I love it.
Yeah. I had someone, I'm not sure if the reference will carry on, but someone was like, they messaged me and they're like, oh, it's just like Starbug from Red Dwarf. I'm not sure if you've seen Red Dwarf, but it's this bit where they've got like they've got models and they move them on strings to simulate like spacecraft, and it looks really not bad, but good, but bad. I love it. I took it as a huge compliment. I was like, thank you very much.
Right. It's very, very kind of self-aware, campy sort of.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it's campy, but we know it's campy, so it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it was such a weird, like having the like I was holding it with like tweezers, which you can see. I couldn't hide them enough. I was like, oh, a part of me, you should have seen the ideas that I threw away. At one point, I was spraying a set of tweezers green, and I was like, what? I'll just spray them green, and then I can put them on the green screen.
Right,
and then
key them out.
And I was like, what? I'm overthinking this. No one's going to care that much.
Right, for this 5-second shot.
Yeah, for this 5-second shot. I did throw away another scene, which it looked bad. There's this stuff that hits the cutting room floor that I'm just like, no.
But I mean,
it was too bad.
So you've got some of the very obvious effects and some of the fun stuff like that. But one of the things that I noticed early on was you've got the little ploy cards and tack up cards and stuff, and it's just this little simple animation where the cards slide out and flip over, and it's just this nice little subtle touch, but it really just kind of sells the production value. And thinking about it, I was like, man, that probably took a long time for him to do, for something that most people are only going to kind of subliminally notice, but it's just this extra little touch.
I have a problem. I think I can't, like, the thing is when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if it could flip around like a card? And I was like, well, now I'm going to have to do that. Now that I've said it in my own mind, I can't unthink it. Yeah. Like I've it's alive now. It's its own thing. I can't stifle it. I must let it be. Yeah. I do a lot of like, when I'm watching it, I guess it's because I just really wanted to basically build like creating them as a fan of the finished form itself. Like I really like battle reports and I really loved watching. I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if someone just spent like, what if someone just spent like went to the nth degree on the ridiculous stuff, like to make it look amazing. And I was like, oh, I'd love to give that a try. I mean, the first one I was trying, but is nowhere near. And then I think I leveraged the community quite well. I leaned on Reddit quite a lot in the early days because Reddit's great for feedback. Like, I mean, it might always be great. Most of the feedback I got was fantastic. I found in general the community has been absolutely amazing. And Reddit, like particularly so, they've been super helpful when I've been trying to kind of improve the channel. People aren't afraid to say what they want. And you just been like, I think I remember in the original days, I had just the black borders around the game were kind of empty. And I was looking at them going, it just looks a bit, well, it just is empty.
Right.
So I kind of asked on Reddit, as like, when someone suggested, why don't you have a running score and stuff like that? And it's just as soon as someone says it, you're like, of course. Like, yeah. why wouldn't I have that? And it just makes so much sense. But then obviously I'm like, oh, what happens if they come on with little circular logos and then pulled? And then I'm like, ooh, and then I go a bit, crazy. And and
then I get a little plague bearer and have him make snarky comments throughout the entire game.
That was, that I'm really not sure how that started.
Well, and the kill team community in particular, I think, is much different from kind of Reddit as a whole. The Kill Team 21 has really it's reinvigorated the community in a great way. Like you were saying, in the interim there, where Kill Team 18 was kind of dying a slow death,
It
and
really was. Yeah.
the community was very pessimistic. You go onto the social media groups and stuff like that, and everybody's just kind of like, oh well. And then Kill Team 21 came out, and there's just people just came in droves, and there's also been this kind of secondary wave of content creators around it. You said you started in Kill Team 18, but really Kill Team 21 is when I started noticing your channel. But then there's also other people. There's like Ben from Battle Brothers Tabletop. There's Threes to Wound. There's all these other channels that have kind of popped up, and I think help broaden the community a bit more, because we've always had guys like Andy, Glass Half Dead, and Beeranid and Command Point, and those channels that have been around and kind of stuck it out through the lean times at the end of Kill Team 18 and are still there now. But now there's just this second wave of people that have kind of come into it.
I know what you mean. I do kind of think that I'm probably more, although technically I started at the tail end, the worst time to get in on Kill Team. That I think I'm probably. I mean, if I could have gone two ways. If Kill Team 21 had been terrible, I probably would have stopped. But I was so excited that I do feel like I almost came back in on the second wave, as it were, like with the new Kill Team. It made me want to kind of up my game and stuff like that. And you do mention, I mean, there's some great YouTube. It feels like there's so much more. I'm trying to think of when I was, as you mentioned the others, I was like Command Point. I remember Command Point.
Oh, I forgot Glacial Geek.
Strategic.
My
Glacial Geek.
My fellow Philip and fellow Alaskan.
But yeah, no, there's some great ones out there. I mean, you mentioned Ben as well. I mean, he's all right. He's not one of the greats, but I'm only joking, Ben. This is great. Yeah, it's because it was. The thing is weird that I didn't used to watch a lot of YouTube for Kill Team prior to starting myself, which is kind of weird. I basically watched Kill Team. I basically watched YouTube for 40K content, but I was playing Kill Team.
Well, there wasn't a lot out there. Like I said, there were a handful of channels.
That's what it is, yeah.
It was all very specific. When it came to like narrative content, especially, PlayOn had some of that, but Command Point and Glass, they're obviously they're geared toward a more competitive vibe. Beeranid as well, and then that's their shtick. That's what they enjoy. And for myself, one of the things I've been thinking about in recent months, and I've false started on a video script probably half a dozen times on this, but it's this idea that and I'm certainly guilty of it, we as a community, I think, allow ourselves to get into this cycle of, oh, well, if I'm going to play, I will just play a match play all the time, and I'm going to go online and I'm going to see what the best list is, and I'm going to do and we get into this weird competitive mindset. But early on in the channel, I put up a poll on my channel. It was like just asking people, how many tournaments for whatever game it is, how many tournaments do you plan on attending in 2022, assuming that going out and being around other humans is a thing that's acceptable again? The answer was, it was like, I think 2/3 or more than 50% for sure, we're not planning on going to any. And if you included between 0 and 5, it was something like 90%. So people, we get into this match play mindset and tournament prep sort of mindset, but the vast majority of us never go to a tournament or go to one or two. Like I myself am in that 1 to 5 group. The local game store has tournaments that I'll probably go to a couple throughout the course of a year. But really kind of one of the things I want to do, and I've yet to figure out how to articulate that, is encouraging people to dip more into the narrative side of things. And we were just talking about Glacial Geek. He had a video recently that really kind of takes a big step in that direction, where he was talking about kind of like what you said you were doing with your earliest videos, where you can set up as if it were a match play game or whatever. You don't have to do all the bookkeeping for Spec Ops and all that, but just build yourself a little narrative and come up with a reason why these two factions are fighting over this particular city block or whatever. And it kind of builds out from there. And then you're not as concerned about what's the most meta choice for me to be taking right now. There's a time and a place for that. but the vast majority of us are never going to experience that. But that's what all the content has been, not just for Kill Team,
Yeah.
but for 40K.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's mainly why I didn't watch a lot of YouTube for it, because most of it is, you would look at that and think, well, YouTube is 90% competitive play then, because all I see is telling me how to do competitive play. And the stuff that I used to love was the stuff that, I mean, I used to like watching the D&D games and stuff like that online, just because it's just pure narrative. And I used to really love any kind of game where they try to build a narrative into it, because that's how I played my games. Like when I was playing my Corn list, which was 8 Corn Berserkers. I mean, of course it is. And I think you could run it with the champion that was like basically a Corn Berserker anyway. But it was just perfect. And I didn't play them tactically. And every game,
You just run screaming forward.
Exactly. Yeah. I just had headcanon. I was like, okay, so what's happening? So that's all I used to do. I mean, I'm one of those players that if you come round, I've got the snacks out, but I've also got the music playing, and the music is like Dawn of War soundtrack. So that when we're playing, there is like, it feels like this thematic music playing, because that's how I really like the atmosphere of the narrative, even if it's
that's
not
a great
narrative.
idea.
I put the music on and I'm like, okay, so this is the mission, and I would try and explain it to like whoever I'm playing, but like in a narrative way, just because I used to like, I like, again, going into like Dungeons and Dragons, that kind of stuff. I really love there being a reason why stuff's happening. So that's why I always wanted to just be like, that's the narrative, the little tiny little narrative reason for why these two forces find themselves here today, and then go.
Right.
And that's always been how
Well, let's talk a little bit about your narrative campaign that, as we're talking, on April 2nd, is ongoing. It was with the 4th one was the most recent.
Yes,
I think the fourth
one was the boss battle.
Yeah, just a few days. Yeah. So you've got this narrative thing going, but from the beginning, not only do you have the story kind of woven in, that obviously the how the game ends up going kind of affects this decision tree of what ends up happening going forward, but you've incorporated a lot of things that are not according to Hoyle, as they would say. You've got 2 different factions or sub factions showing up on a given board, and boss battles, like you said, and kind of this pseudo commanders sort of thing going on now too. As when it comes to actually making that work on the tabletop and rules and that sort of thing, how concerned are you, if at all, with like, is this a balanced thing, or is this just a cool thing that I want to see happen?
Yeah, I guess I'm of the mindset that, I mean, the truth shouldn't get in the way of a good story, and the rules shouldn't get in the way of a good game. I guess if I had to tagline the
no, that's a great one. Yeah,
but yeah, no, I do. Ultimately, it is a game, and I don't want it to be too one-sided. It's a narrative game, so I don't mind if it is a little. The balance isn't as much of an issue for me. In terms of balancing it, I do try my best to make sure it's not unfair on any particular player. So there was an issue that I was going to just run the Wormblade against just Compendium Guard.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. And I was just like, I don't think I can.
That would not be pretty, I don't think.
Yeah, I thought I was like, ooh, that might be a really bad game. So I did, like, I made sure I painted up a Vet Guard team so that Emma could have a chance. Although she's been taking it to me in a few games. I've not, like, I know again, I think I'm much more of a narrative game, like a narratively minded player. I will quite often do something that I don't think is good.
That is not optimal.
But yeah, I was like, this isn't optimal, but if this works, oh man, this will be cool. And then sometimes the dice are with me and sometimes they are not. I am that Blood Bowl player who plays dwarfs and then does a Hail Mary pass. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. But if I pass with dwarves and get...
Won't that be epic?
That in my mind, that is 12 touchdowns that I've just scored. And I should be awarded such as is if... So that's... I am... It's a little bit more heightened when I'm playing the narrative games, in that when I'm normally playing, if I'm down at the local store, I generally play quite just normally, I guess.
Sure.
Whatever normally means. I am trying to do some things I think could be, I'm not necessarily, it depends on how well I know the player as well. So if I know them quite well, I might try and do more cool things just for my own kind of amusement. Like, oh, wouldn't that be cool? Because I'm always kind of running headcanon when I'm playing.
Yeah.
And it's even worse now. I can't have a serious game with the Wormblade because I'm always like, well, that Locust, he's the leader of the cult. You don't want to charge him. He's the Broodlord's Talon. You better stay away from. And I get quite attached to them. I like, I don't want to advance him too far.
Yeah. What if he dies? Yeah.
Like, what if he dies? And then what am I going to do in the campaign?
Yeah.
So I do have like this running canon in my head, which is how I basically play my game.
You do like a Marvel.
Yeah, I'd be the worst competitive player ever, just because it really wouldn't work. I'd like to try it, but I think it'd be a serious mind change shift for me to get into that more competitive mindset. But yeah, no, I do try and make sure that it's at least a fun game for everyone. I think that's the main thing. That the narrative should still be fun, and that's the So I tried to like throw it. I think every game so far has had custom rules. If I think about it, all the missions are just kind of made up.
Yeah.
And they might be wildly unfair. I try and make it realistic. I think the first mission ended up being, I guess he could have made it, but he got injured. I'm trying to think back now. It wasn't,
I know, it's
like basically he just has to go one place. He just has to leave the board out that specific or end in the extraction zone. But they were like set. I think there's been a game that, I think the first game, they like all the bad guys started the game on a 4+, they got a free Overwatch shot, and they almost wiped out the team. And I was like, oh no.
Was that the one where the pure showed up?
Yes, the Gene Stealers showed up.
Oh, they showed up, and I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. And then the sisters showed up, and it was kind of okay again. but even the sisters kind of ended up having a desperate last stand there.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd use Gene Stealers. I think Gene Stealers, Hive Guard, it's not Hive Guard, the Hive Fleet and the Gene Stealer cult have ended up being my go-to teams, I guess mainly because of the campaign. So I use them a lot more now, and I hadn't realized at the time how deadly Gene Stealers are. And I put them in, and I think they all had like a free dash on a 4-up, and some of them got it. And then instantly I was looking at them going, oh no, this is going to be horrendously bad. This is going to be a bloodbath, and everyone's going to die. But like, in a way, like I've never had to replay any of the narrative games.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just basically I never plan what's happening in the end because of it. I'm never sure. Let's be like, so I'll film the intro normally because I can't help myself. I really love doing those scenes.
Oh, they're great.
I have them like floating around. I'm like, oh, that'd be so cool. So I'll film it, and then I'll be like, okay, so I know the game is this, and because of the scene, I know that roughly this is probably what the mission's going to be, or how the board. Generally, the mission that will impact how the board's laid out. And then, so then I kind of have an idea of what I want to do in the middle. I don't know, not all the times, but I've always kind of, I like the traditional arc. So the beginning, the middle, and the end, where there's some sort of twist, just because otherwise there's not a lot that breaks up those two turns. When it's so nice to bookend it with two scenes and then have something happen in the middle that just changes the last two turns for whatever reason. It just, I really like that kind of current formula. So I think I'll probably be sticking with, just because it means I get to do 3 scenes as well, which is
well,
the last episode is just going to be no game and just full scene. It's gonna be like, no game.
And then this guy showed up, and then this guy.
Yeah.
So along those lines too, and talking about like if something isn't quite going as you planned, I was thinking back to Dungeons and Dragons, and when I've been a dungeon master before, and there have been times where it's you put out an encounter for the party, and they're like, oh, this will be fun, and then halfway through you're like, oh no, I have badly miscalculated. I mean, have you ever had to change something on the fly in the middle of a game to be like, okay, I thought this was going to be cool, but it's a disaster?
I mean, many times as a GM in Dungeons and Dragons, I've had to do that, but I've yet to need. I mean, we're only 4 episodes in, so it's not happened yet.
Okay.
I did worry that the Broodlord, because I just had no idea. It was, I mean, the rules are written. Travis, who won the KTO in Baltimore, Florida, anyway, one of those ones, the most recent one. He's doing narrative stuff. He loves his narrative stuff, and he said, "Oh, I've got some rules written for a Broodlord you could use." And I was like, "Great, fantastic!" And they ended up being so perfect that it was up until the very last turn, I think it's like a sister goes towards him and throws a grenade. Up until that point, there was a very real possibility that he was then going to wipe the entire team, and ended up being like a really like three crits, and like he failed the save, and it was just like, ooh. But so far, I've not had to go back, which has been good because obviously, if you have to redo stuff, it becomes less fun.
Right. And I was kind of thinking that because you'd said you'd never had to replay a game or anything like that. And I can see with this whole idea of building up the headcanon and building up the narrative, it would kind of cheapen it. Even if we, the consuming public, never saw that,
Yeah.
you would know.
I mean, yeah, you would never know. It is more, it sounds weird. It's almost more for me. The fact that there's any fans of it at all it's amazing because it's essentially just what I want to do. Yeah. So so far nothing's happened yet, but I've got some stuff coming up that I can imagine. Could go one of two ways. It could be amazing, or it could be a turn one and everything's over. So we'll see.
Well, and as far as we've had some recent balance changes and some alterations to Kill Team, you mentioned painting up a 6th Grey Knight. As far as like the campaign in progress, now that like the teams you're using there haven't had that sort of treatment yet, but is that something that you'd incorporate as you went on if it became relevant?
Yeah, I think so. I've had to. It's been weird. So I'm not sure if you've played much narrative on the new system at all. But
I haven't. I'm mostly relegated to Sadhammer right now still. So
yeah, it's quite a slow XP grind to actually see any change in your team. You need like 5 XP to get to the next level. And what happened when I first started, there was no Wormblade announced.
Right,
so there was no Wormblade. So when I first started the first game, I was just Genestealer cults. And then Wormblade got announced, and I was like, oh no, I can't not. It's got all the characters. It's literally perfect. I was like, oh, I could get a Locust. Look how cool he looks. So I did upgrade the Genestealer's first team, and I decided just to scrap the original team. I was just like, oh, the Genestealer's cult's gone. They've now all been upgraded because no one had upgraded anyway, so it didn't really make much difference. But I think I'll keep up with I think what's going to happen is I'm just going to use the narrative guidelines quite loosely. So I think I will be adding extra, like I'll be updating the teams as they go. And I think what I'll be doing is I'll start doing like double XP because I want to see some people actually get level ups.
Yeah, you get the cool stuff. It's just like D&D. You want people to get to level 10 so that they can.
I want to start the campaign on level 3 so they got all the cool stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, especially 5th edition D. That's a whole different conversation. But 5th edition D&D, I believe, I'm a firm believer in starting at level 3 for exactly that reason.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I want really. I think that's going to be the next thing that I not change but modify, is that I've realized that I think the system's great. I think the system they use is great, but I think their system is based on a lot more frequent games.
Yeah.
So I think I need to update how XP is gained so that they can all gain XP a little bit quicker so that we can see the benefits of XP. Because I think it's a great system. I just think the way that I'm playing it, it's not easy to do it like on a massive scale. Maybe. If you were in a shop and you had like every Wednesday there's 7 games getting played, you'd be able to see progression a lot quicker. Whereas I'm only on game 5 and I've used a few teams, and because I'm using my own custom missions, it doesn't necessarily mean that people are leveling up.
Right. They don't get those XP bumps like they do in some of the narrative or like the rare equipment.
Yeah, so they all get. I did a while back. I actually physically made a base for the Genestealer cults just because. I don't know why. I just thought it would be cool. I actually wanted somewhere to film them against.
Yeah.
That wasn't like the board, because I was like, I don't really have anything that replicates sewers. So I just kind of made a little base that I could use like a filming prop more than anything. And I was like, oh, well, since I've made it, it might as well be them. So then I rolled on their base stats, which you get in the narrative games. So you can give them med bays and stuff like that. So I've done all that for the teams. It's just, no one's gained enough XP for it to be fruitful yet. It's just a little bit of a slow grind.
I do want to talk a little bit about plans going forward. Obviously, you've got this campaign in progress, but any thoughts about once this kind of wraps up and you get to the, or is it going to wrap up? Are we just going to keep going and going and going?
Just going friends campaign season. I love the big thing I liked when I was doing DMing for D&D is that I really liked the fact that I got to finish a campaign.
Yeah.
And it was like 60 odd sessions, and it was a long ass campaign, but we got to the end, and the players, although we technically started a season 2, they had a resolution to season 1. So I'm a big believer in finishing it, because I think I want the payoff to be good. I want there to be some sort of resolution at the end of it. So I'm definitely going to finish the campaign, he says. I really have no idea how long a campaign should last. Based on the narrative rules that G-Dubs have written, it probably a while for them to take so long for them to get any skills at all.
Right, and there's not really like a resolution system built into that. It's just based on whatever your story happens to be.
Exactly. So I'm going to have to... The thing is, I've not planned, in true Dungeon Master style, I've not planned out that far ahead, just because if events of a game will then change my plans. So if someone dies and then... Because there's permadeath, it's just no one's died yet. It is quite hard to
it is, yeah.
Them. So they get battle scars. I think there's a couple with battle scars, which are kind of a bit... It's like, oh, he's like -1 movement or something like that. So it's a bit like, oh no. But yeah, no one's died yet or anything like that. So that would be... But I can't plan ahead just in case... Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I might have to give the Locust plot armor, because I don't think I could cope if he died, because he is my favorite.
He escapes at the last minute.
That's what I think. I think he always escapes. I think he has to. I've not actually rolled their... I don't roll until the next game's started.
Okay.
So I don't have to roll them. I know it's coming, so I know he's got an injury roll, so I'm going to do it live. I'm going to find a dice. No. So I'll do it now. I'll do it later. I can't find a dice. Oh, I got a 6, so he's okay.
He's fine.
He's fine. He lives. I don't mind rolling any of the others. Even the Kellamorph could go. It's just not the Locust. I've got a lot of lofty ideas. So I always wanted... I basically want the campaign to ramp up and ramp up and ramp up, and then more and more planets in the system get involved. And then I was going to try and do a combat patrol mission of Big Hammer between like a Tyranids and the Imperial forces combined. But again, it was going to be quite I've got the rules, so it's going to be rules. But every time I look back at 40K, there seems to be so much going on. And I'm like, for just one game, that's a lot I'm going to have to...
Well, and there's a new Tyranid Codex coming now. And...
Yeah, that doesn't help me out. I was just like, it's great for the Tyranids players, but I was like, I wish them just to simple it down a bit, just for when I need it. But we might see. I could use one-page...
I was going to say you could use OPR, yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking at...
I'd love to see somebody do a bat rep with one-page rules.
I've been thinking about it for a while, actually.
I was looking into it, too. Because you talk about big 40K, and yeah, one of the things that's really kind of turned me off a little bit is that the book bloat is just insane. And Kill Team is starting to get a little bit of that, but
I looked at it's getting bad when you don't realize it, because I was looking at my bookshelf with the Kill Team stuff on. I was like oh, because I was chatting with my brother, and he was like, oh, next time you're up we should play. He was mentioning one-page rules, and he was saying we should have a game of fantasy using the one-page rules, because we played recently a 6th edition battle report. It's not out. It's not coming out yet, just because I started editing it, and it was like, it's a long. It's like, I don't know how long we were playing for, but I've got footage, and it's like 7 hours long, and it's just like, wow. And quite a lot of that is because we're rereading the rules and going back to the rules, and there's the rule book for 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy is quite big, and then you're like skimming through. And he was talking about one-page rules, and I looked over at the Kill Team shelf, and I was like, oh, I've got like 6 books for Kill Team already. And I just realized they'd snuck up on me. And I got a supplement for White Dwarf, and I was like, they really are just sneaking up on me. I didn't even realize how bad it was getting, but it is getting into Kill Team, the old book bloat.
Well, and I do kind of wonder if, because this will be the first full year we've had with the current edition of Kill Team, and I do wonder if we'll get an annual that has at least the bare bones rules. Obviously, not the scenarios for Chalnath and Octarius and all that stuff, but It would be nice to have an annual, but then come January
Gonna be out of
2023,
date.
there will be another team in White Dwarf, and then
Yeah.
yeah. So
I don't know what the answer is to that.
well,
I
it's
like the annual. But
yeah,
like, I mean, in the old Kill Team 18, I loved that it was like a game in a vacuum. It was like there's nothing like, I mean, I know we got elites but then by the time the annual came out, it was like you need just this one boot, that's it. It's not something I'm doing currently, but with the narrative game, I really like the idea that because the focus is less on the rules and more on the story, it shouldn't matter what system is used.
yeah.
So that when I started the narrative games, I was like, I'm going to start with Kill Team because Kill Team's what I love. But part of me, when I was thinking I could do random different missions, I was like, well, I'm not focusing on the rules intentionally with this game because I wanted to be about the story. And if I'm not focusing on the rules and I'm just focusing on the story, then I should be able to use any rules because I've already decided it doesn't matter. So that's part of me that I've been thinking about that for the narrative stuff, dipping in different game systems just to see if it plays the same.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, anybody you want to shout out, anything you want to share, where people can find you, other than your channel, obviously, which we'll have linked, and I'll tag you when this goes up so that people can find your videos.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who to shout out. I just wanted, well, thanks very much for having me on. It's been, like I say, it's been nice to chat. It's always nice to chat about Kill Team and hobbying and in general.
Well, Russ, thanks for taking the time, and we'll look forward to seeing what happens with the rest of this narrative campaign and then going forward.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for having me, Philip.